I'm reading A Tale of Two Cities written by Charles Dickens. Himself always before him as a silent protest against the delusion into which he had fallen or was falling. He remained, therefore, in his seat near the window, reading and writing, and expressing in as many pleasant and natural ways as he could think of that it was a free place. Dr. Manette took what was given him to eat and drink, and worked on. The first day, until it was too dark to see, worked on. Half an hour after, Mr. Lorry could not have seen, for his life, to read or write. When he put his tools aside as useless until morning, Mr. Lorry rose and said to him, "Will you go out?" He looked down at the floor on either side of him in the old manner, looked up in the old manner, and repeated in the old low voice, "Out? Yes, for a walk with me. Why not?" He made no effort to say why not, and said not a word more. But Mr. Lorry thought he saw, as he leaned forward on his bench in the dusk, with his elbows on his knees and his head in his hands, that he was in some misty way asking himself, why not? The sagacity of the man of business perceived an advantage here and determined to hold it. Miss Pross and he divided the night into 2 watches and observed him at intervals from the adjoining room. He paced up and down for a long time before he lay down, but when he did finally lay himself down, he fell asleep. In the morning he was up betimes and went straight to his bench and to work. On this second day, Mr. Lorry saluted him cheerfully by his name, and spoke to him on topics that had been of late familiar to them. He returned no reply, but it was evident that he heard what was said, and that he thought about it, however confusedly. This encouraged Mr. Lorry to have Miss Pross in with her work, several times during the day. At those times they quietly spoke of Lucy and of her father then present, precisely in the usual manner, and as if there were nothing amiss. This was done without any demonstrative accompaniment, not long enough or often enough to harass him, and delighted Mr. Lorry's friendly heart to believe that he looked up. First, I'll give you the basic information of this page. In this page now, there are 3 main characters, Dr. Manette, Mr. Lorry, and Miss Pross. Dr. Manette is an old man, and he had been in jail, the Bastille prison in France, for 18 years. And now he got out of the jail, and he is living with his lovely daughter, Lucy Manette. And Mr. Lorry is an old friend of Dr. Manette, and he is a banker. He's working for Tellson's Bank, which has 2 branches in London and in Paris. And the last one, Miss Pross, is a servant. So she's working for Dr. Manette and Lucy Manette, and living with them. And please look at the first line, first paragraph. So himself always before him as a silent protest against the delusion into which he had fallen or was falling. In this sentence, the keyword is delusion. So delusion means a false belief about yourself or the situation you are in. So now Dr. Manette is falling into the delusion that now he is in jail, even though he's in his house and he's free. Because Lucy Manette is a very important person to Dr. Manette, because Lucy is the only child he has and only family member he has. So Dr. Manette heavily relies on his daughter, Lucy Manette. But now Lucy Manette is away from home. She is not in this house because yesterday he got married with Charles Dane, and now they are on their honeymoon trip. So I think that's why Dr. Manette started to fall into the delusion again, because there's no one he can rely on. And the next sentence, he remained therefore in his seat near the window, reading and writing. So here he is Mr. Lorry. Instead of Lucy Manette, Mr. Lorry is staying at his house and is taking care of his old friend, Dr. Manette. And he stayed in the room and sitting in his seat and near the window, reading and writing, and expressing in as many pleasant and natural ways as he could think of, that it was a free place. So now he is trying to show that here is a free place, not a jail, for Dr. Manette. Because Dr. Manette is falling into the delusion. And the next paragraph, Dr. Manette took what was given him to eat and drink. So Miss Pross, she is a servant, so she provides all the food. And Dr. Manette ate everything he got from Miss Pross and worked on the first day until it was too dark to see. And he started to working on making shoes. So when he was in jail, he spent all of his time making shoes for his daughter. And he didn't finish making shoes in the jail, so he started to make shoes again because now he believes that now he's in jail. And he kept working on making shoes until it was too dark to see. In the next sentence, worked on half an hour after Mr. Lorry could not have seen. So now it's too dark. It was so dark that Mr. Lorry couldn't see and couldn't read any book. But still, Dr. Manette is making shoes. And the next one, when he put his tools aside as useless until morning, Mr. Lorry rose and said to him, "Will you go out?" And now it's dark and Dr. Manette stopped working. And when he stopped working on making shoes, Mr. Lorry rose and asked him, "Will you go out with me?"
Is he has a disease of mind?
Yeah, he's suffering with mental illness, I think, because he was innocent, but he had been in jail for 18 years. So I think that's why he got mental illness.
What was his job?
He was a doctor. And I think he treated some people who are suffering with mental illness.
Mr. Lorry is a rich man?
I think he has quite a lot of money, but anyway, he gets salaries from the bank.
Is he management, Dr. Manett's money?
Yeah, when Dr. Manette was in jail, Mr. Lorry managed all the properties he had, and also he took care of Lucy Manette. He didn't live with her, but because she is a daughter of his old friend.
Has he been in same condition after he getting out of jail?
Yeah, it took quite a lot of time to make him better. But anyway, Lucy Manette and old friend Mr. Lorry and also Miss Pross, all of them, they tried very hard to make his condition better. So now it's getting much better.
What is adjoining room?
Adjoin means connected. So it means that next to the Dr. Manette's room. And those two rooms are connected.
And why is he working all day? Even he cannot see anything?
We think that is very unusual behavior, but when he was in jail, there was nothing he could do. And he missed his family a lot. But sadly, his wife died when he was in jail. And Lucy Manette, his daughter, was the only family he had. So he missed his daughter a lot, and that's why he made shoes for his daughter in jail. And now Lucy Manette is on his honeymoon trip. So that's why he again falls into the delusion that here is jail.
Maybe he can feel comfort only when he sees his daughter.
Yeah, because as I said, he heavily relies on his daughter, Lucy Manette.
Last paragraph. On the second day, Mr. Lorry salty. What means salty? Mr. Lorry salty?
Saluted. The first definition is to move your hand next to your eyebrows to show respect to someone who is in a higher rank. And but in an old-fashioned meaning, it means to greet someone. To greet someone. So that means simply Mr. Lorry said hello to Dr. Manet cheerfully. Good morning, like this.
But politely.
Yeah, politely, in a polite way.
Do you like Mr. Lorry's character?
Don't you resemble his character a little bit?
I don't think so. Because Mr. Lorry has been single for a long time.
But I like it, that part.